Hello, welcome to Sheepdog Says. I'm Sheepdog, and I'm a bit defeated today. I've had I had some sleep last night, but my wife had virtually none. Our baby boy, who's about 8 months old at the moment, he's got this habit at the moment of he's asleep if you hold him, but he wakes up the second you lay him down. The second you put him in bed, he goes nuts. We've been fighting him for about a week now, if not 2 weeks. I've lost track. My wife's barely slept. I'm trying to get sleep. I find that if I'm not awake trying to get him to bed, I'm laying there panicking, thinking, what am I going to be like tomorrow when I get to work? I'm freaking out that I'm going to be tired while driving in or home, or that I'm going to make mistakes. I was having at such a point where I was dreaming about like stuff going on at work and how I was going to make them. It was weird. I was like dreaming about working on stuff and getting something wrong, and then explaining that I was tired, and then waking up worried about it, and just thinking, damn it, why won't he sleep? And it's just been really weird today. I feel like we've just been through the ringer. Mainly my wife. I mean, bless her, she's gone for a run tonight, probably just to get some freedom and have some fresh air. She's back at work next week, but I'm lucky that I've been in a position at the moment where I've basically been able to say, look, I'm sorry, but I've got to get up in the morning. You need to handle this. But he's just getting more and more naughty with it. Like, not naughty, that's the wrong word. More and more clingy and dependent. He's going through a phase. Just now, he was asleep on my lap. I took him upstairs. I laid him down. He started crying. I tried to get him to sleep. I realised he'd pooped, brought him back downstairs. While I was changing him, he pooped everywhere again. That was a nightmare. I had to wipe up everything. I was just like, oh dear Lord. By the time I'd changed him and picked him up, he'd fallen asleep on me. Couldn't believe it. I sat back down and thought, he is out. He's completely out. So I carried him upstairs. I laid him down. He was awake instantly. I just don't know. I mean, I was starting to get irate, but I thought, no, I need to control this. I need to hold it in. I'm snapping because he's just taking the mickey now. He knows what he's doing. I'm sure of it. I know he doesn't, but in the moment, you just feel like he knows what he's doing. He knows he's winding me up, and he's doing it on purpose. But he's not. He's an 8-month-old baby. That's what they do. So this time what I've done is I've just said, you know what? I know you're tired. I didn't physically say this is an 8-month-old baby. I thought it. You're tired. I'm going to leave the room. I'm going to shut the door. I'm going to go talk to your sister, Lamp Up, because she's not going to scream and shout at me and cry loads and go nuts. Within about 4 minutes, he'd fallen asleep. I couldn't believe it. I've got a little thing next to me now, his little baby monitor. There he is. I don't know if it's very clear on this screen. Probably not, but he keeps twiddling his hands in his sleep, almost like he's biding his time, like he's just waiting for me to get into the middle of the video and then he'll go nuts. I mean, he looks peaceful at the moment. I daren't bother him. Oh, I've just put my hand in paint. No, I was just about to say that Lamp Up's been really good. She's not done anything to bother me, and now I am with paint on my hand and nothing to wipe it off with. Why did she do that? I'm actually at the point where these kids are breaking me. Excuse me a second while I reach for a wipe. Oh, son of a... They're all gone. I'm just going to keep it on my hand and I'm not going to move because I've started, so I'm going to finish. The main reason I wanted to do a video about my kids, I guess, is my son at the moment. Again, he's going through a phase where I mentioned the other day how I sometimes come out with things that are slightly wrong, or I told him that ghosts couldn't come here because we've got a dog and that keeps dogs away and that sort of thing. I've told him now they're not real. He seems to have accepted that. But I try and tell him straight when he's misbehaving and stuff like that. I try and tell him straight exactly what he should and shouldn't do. He was having trouble whereby he would be... Sorry, I'm just getting paper. Where he'd listen to his teacher, but he wouldn't listen to the helper. He'd listen to the helper, but he wouldn't listen to people who came in. He'd listen to people who came in. And I've had to keep saying to him, if there's an adult in your class and they're there to teach you and they're part of the school, you do as you're told. I feel like they keep wanting us to caveat it that obviously if it's just a maniac who's snuck in through the window, that they shouldn't listen to that, or him or her, and that's fair game. But I feel like that goes without saying, and the kids aren't that silly. I think he'd understand that. But I've essentially told him that if a you know an adult walks in the door at the school, he's got to do as they say most of the time if he knows that they work there, sort of thing. So then today, I get a call to tell me that when a dinner lady asked him to do something, his response was, "I don't have to listen to you. I don't have to do what you tell me." Apparently, in his world, I have to list every single possible person that he has to listen to so that he knows in his little file of facts in his brain that dinner ladies, the head, deputy head, the ladies who cook his dinner, the help of like disabled kids and stuff like that. Apparently, I have to literally go through the list and tell him that they all need to be listened to. I've lectured him no end today. He, on top of that, he's getting to an age where he doesn't feel like punishments are that big of a deal. Today was just mental. I came in, and a couple of months back when I got a call about him being naughty, I came home and I was going to delete some of his Pokemon, his legendaries. And it was one of the hardest punishments because he was having a meltdown. He was so sad. He was so gutted. It felt like I was really hitting home. And he was good for months after that. Like other niggly bits really hit home. Today I come in and I said, right, well, you know what this means. I got a call. I've got to delete Pokemon. I deleted one and he goes, it's all right. I've got several of them. And I was just like, are you kidding me? So I've just been trying to escalate it, elevate the punishment. We're at a point now where I've taken away the light in his room. I've said, right, not the normal light. He has a light on next to him while he sleeps. And I've just said, no, do you know what? That's going to annoy you enough. I'll probably put it back on when it's dark because it's there to stop him getting like scared in the night. But I thought that's going to upset you enough that you'll feel like you've been punished. So I moved it away and unplugged it. And he's literally just spent the past hour just upset, which didn't help with the kid. But I feel like for once, this is probably the most it seems to have got through to him. And I wish it was more entertaining, to be honest, but it's just one of those where I feel like, damn it, I'm trying to get through to this 5.5-year-old that he needs to do as he's told. He needs to stop being silly. I need to stop getting calls from school. He used to be worse, but he's got obviously learned a lot in the time he's been at school. It's just at a point now where we shouldn't be getting these calls and that sort of thing. And I just feel like, sometimes it's been a little bit awkward. Again, it's not funny and I shouldn't laugh, but sometimes we get a note written in his book that says he did something and you think, well, that's a bit trivial. Why are you telling us about this? And I get that their standards are up high and he needs to get to that. And sometimes you read him and you think, well, that's actually quite funny. He said something or did something, or there was a joke in class and he carried it on, and you're like, fair enough. But I don't know. It just feels like, every time I think the thing that's funny is every time I try and do something and think that it's the right thing to do, it seems to backfire massively. And I had a chat with my wife about it because I was like, is it that I'm particularly stupid and bad, or is it just one of those weird things? For example, my brother-in-law and I are into dinosaurs and played a lot of dinosaur stuff with him when he was little. And then he went to nursery and he'd play with dinosaurs and then he kept biting people. And we were like, for crying out loud. And he'd just be like, I'm a dinosaur, rah. And we had to teach that out of him. And it was just like, every time I think we come across something that's fixed it, something else happens. My daughter was never this suggestible or this we took him to see, I don't know, one of the Avengers films. I can't remember which one. It's a big, cool cinematic thing. It might be I don't think it's Spider-Man. It's something along those lines. But then straight after it, he's playing all these games that are silly and getting a bit too boisterous. And it's like, ugh. And part of me's like, my cousins and I played worse than that when I was a kid. But I don't know, it feels like times have changed and kids aren't as robust as they were back then. And schools don't let you get away with it now, and it's so different. It's a minefield. I dread for people that are going to be getting into this in 5-10 years when things have got even worse. Because right now, I've got a 8-month-old who is going to have a completely different situation in 4 years when he starts school as to what we have now, and that's different from 4 years ago when 5 years ago when Lamp Up started school, and it's all just mad. I'm just can't get my head around it. I feel like part of me needs to just stay out of the whole telling them what to do thing, because I seem to just make a kerfuffle of it all. I just had a chat with my wife as she's coming in the door, where she's worried that if she doesn't go up and give him a hug and say goodnight and tell her she loves him and all of this, that he'll think that we don't love him and all this. And I'm thinking, I've punished him and sent him to bed when I was a kid. I think that would have been enough. My dad might have come up and ruffled my hair after a couple of hours if it was an argument on a Sunday, but like, I don't know, sending him to bed in trouble seems fair enough if he's been, you know, if he needs to learn a lesson. It's a minefield. I said to her, I don't really know the answer. Like, my gut tells me, don't bother him. Just if he comes out and says I'm awake or whatever, she can have a talk with him and send him to bed. But otherwise, just ignore it, let him go to sleep. We can talk to him in the morning, tell him he's got to be good, he's got to behave. I gave him this long lecture. I feel like when I go off on a lecture, I start feeling like I'm Homer Simpson. Like, I remember there's a Simpsons episode where Homer's wandering around. He's like, and another thing. Oh, and I think he's writing an angry letter to Mr. Burns. And then I think it's Bart says he smells like an elephant's butt and all of this. So they write the note and they post it. And then the next day he regrets it. When I'm going through like, not an angry shouty rant, but like just talking at him, telling him why he's wrong and all this, they start playing in the back of my mind. And then I start losing my train of thought because I'm thinking about that. And I'm thinking about, like, am I sounding too stupid? Have I said something wrong? Have I gone off on a tangent? I mean, I was telling him off about something and then I just started doing other things to say, right, well, I'm going to put that away. I'm going to put that away. You know, you're not having that. And it's like you do just get carried away because your brain's firing off all these ideas, trying to deal with it on the fly. It's just the most ridiculous thing. I mean, have any of you lot out there got a kid who, when they were this sort of age, they just did the silliest little bits, impulsive nonsense, just dumb stuff? I was exactly the same. If I look back at being that age, I did so many incredibly dumb things. I don't remember, I'm sure my parents had to deal with it. I don't remember how or what they did, but my word, kids are frustrating. Lamp Up didn't have any of this. She just kind of gets on with it. I guess her problems will be when she's older and I've got to fight off all the men of Deepin, and I'm just going to be there with a pitchfork fighting them all away, telling them to get lost, and she's going to hate me for that because I'll be interfering with her normal kind of, I don't know, development towards whatever. Maybe by the time she's that age, I'll just have to move off, move off with the boys. See you later, darling. Come back when she's 25. That seems like the best plan. 18, off to uni. I'll see you later. I'll make her do a master's or something and just see her at holidays and Christmas and that sort of thing. But pack them all off. I can see why now. I'm already starting to get why parents look forward to that. I'd miss them, but my God, it's hard. Let them figure it out. I'm sure they'll get there in the end. I'm sure I got there in the end. I'm sorry again, this hasn't been the most entertaining video. This has just been me having a bit of a parental meltdown because I'm really tired. And, well, I mean, I feel guilty saying it because I'm not as tired as my wife. And she's just got in from a run. And I just handed her the baby monitor that I brought up a minute ago and said, right, yeah, hang on, I'm doing a video. And she's like, really? I reckon by the time she gets out of the shower, they'll have all heard she's home and they'll swamp her. So I probably need to wrap this up because I feel like a monster. Yeah, after today, I'll do some proper entertaining videos for a change. He says after 45 not entertaining ones, but no, thanks very much for watching. Sorry, it's been just a little bit more blunt, and I probably sound tired. Work was a bit up and down today in terms of that kind of thing. I think I was productive, but I feel like I needed more pep. I had a lot of coffee. I think that's a part of why I feel tired now, as I'm on the come down from a lot of strong coffee. That coffee's so strong that one cup makes my heart go jittery. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to just hitting the sack now. Is that the right phrase? Yeah, I thought I'd said a euphemism then. Hitting the sack and going to bed. Thanks so much for watching. Give me some comments, give me some advice. Somebody said to me before that my 6-month-old at the time, that he was coming out of that phase, and by 7 months he'd like me, and he does like me now. He's just going through the nightmare sleep phase. I can't remember that being a thing with the other two, so hopefully that finishes. Is this being a dope at school thing a phase? Is my son going to get out of it? At what age does that happen? And when do I need to start worrying about my 9-year-old Lamp Up becoming a monster? Is that 13? Have I got 4 years left of safety? She was just entertaining. I felt really mean for her because I had a go at Bosco. I sorted out the baby and then I said to her, turn that down. And she was like, sorry. And I said, well, I'm sorry too. It just felt like you were being left out of the berating. We had a funny chat afterwards, so I think she's calmed me down. But anyway, I'm waffling. I'm going to finish up here. I'll see you tomorrow. Comment, like. I'm not expecting anyone to subscribe off the back of this, but if you fancy giving me a pity subscribe, do it. I'm still at 199. I want to get over to 200, and I don't even know. I mean, I want to get to 1,000. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I need to sit and strategize this at some point. I was thinking about it earlier. I need to actually look at it and think it's not just going to miraculously happen. It's amazing that people get to millions and millions because they must just come up with some sort of genius idea, and at the moment I'm kind of like, it'll come, I suppose. Like Kev always said, this is just about getting them out there every day, getting used to doing it, getting into the habit. And to be honest, in this instance, it's about getting some sort of help and feedback from you lot that might be useful. So yeah, over to you. Thanks very much, and I'll see you tomorrow.